the first two letters, we're on to the second O in the Co-op-RISE framework. So this time, the O stands for operational compliance. So medyo, ano po ito sir, medyo sensitive topic dahil medyo may kahirapan na ma-accomplish natin yung ating targeted rate of compliance from our cooperatives. So we know that governance and compliance is closely related. And ano po kaya yung ating magagawa? Ano yung mga bagong programa that we could launch so that we can increase good governance or champion good governance and at the same time increase level of compliance of our cooperatives?
I truly believe that once cooperatives are compliant, their level of trustworthiness is higher.
Yeah.
When they are within standards and when they are consistent with regulations, I think they will be given a good trust. And trust rating is very important in cooperatives. If they do not trust the co-op, they will not deposit or share or put their money in that co-op. But if their level of trust is high, definitely the co-op will be in good standing in terms of financial stability and financial sustainability. So, I think what CDA can do is to help cooperatives recognize and appreciate the importance of compliance. And there's nothing wrong in compliance. Even in any other organization in the Philippines or in the world, they must have to comply for them to be called trustworthy and what I call the good citizen of the Philippines, because they have a juridical personality. They can only be called good citizen if they are compliant with the requirements vested in the law.
Okay, sir. About regulation, there are cooperatives that see regulation as punitive and they fear regulation. So, what's your take on this, sir?
I think they should change their mindset about regulation. Regulation is completely an important facet in the everyday lives of cooperatives. If they are not regulated, then they're outside the box. And maybe nobody will believe that. But if they are regulated, they will be given a trustworthiness excellence or seal of excellence. That's one of my probably proposals and projects in the future, that once a cooperative has complied and has been supervised and examined by CDA, we will place a mark of good excellence or good governance in front of the co-op door. That's one of my proposals.
So that's one seal of good governance.
Yes.
Such that everyone that passes around the cooperative and sees that seal, they will say, wow, this cooperative is doing good because it has that seal.
Yes,
okay.
correct.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. And you have already mentioned this a while ago that under your leadership, you encourage that federations be accredited as as one of our regulatory partners. So, how can this change the regulatory landscape? Will it divest the CDA of its regulatory powers?
No, we will not be divested with our regulatory powers. We will still be on top. This is just an accreditation to help us go through the process. I think it's now high time for CDA and federations to combine its efforts and talents to do good examination and supervision to cooperatives. And we hope we can do that in the next 2 years to come.
Yes, so mahaba pa yung panahon for this priority, and this is one in the top.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. So we're on to the next letter in our framework, letter P, which stands for policy advocacy. Particularly, we would like to focus on the protection of tax exemptions and legal rights of cooperatives. Sir, in your opinion, what are the major threats and opportunities in this area?
The major threats, as far as I'm concerned, is the removal of the benefits and privileges of cooperatives. If cooperatives loses that advocacy and policy direction, I think that will affect the cooperatives one way or the other. That's why there is a need for policy advocacy for us to be recognized, for us to be given the right respect, and probably add on to what the government is doing. What we do at the cooperative sector is, I see as a contribution for the national development, not only in the countryside, but to the whole country.
Okay, yes, sir. So, there is an ongoing initiative to amend
Yes.
the Republic Act 9520, which is now pending before the Senate.
Yes.
So, I don't know if it can be prioritized once the Senate reconvenes after the recess. But if it will be refiled again in the next Congress, what should it include, or what are the major amendments that you think should be included in the amendment of the Cooperative Code?
First, of course, is what I've just said. Sustain the tax benefits given to cooperatives.
Okay.
Second would be giving more independence to cooperatives. Three would be to enshrine the consultative process in coming up with decisions and as well as amendments in the law. But we will still respect what the cooperative sector wants to happen. Also, a visit to the compliance and regulatory requirements, because as I have said, these are part of the continuous discipline that we wanted to embark to all cooperatives in the Philippines.
Okay, so sir, what's your take about the issue that the cooperatives now are over-regulated? Because aside from CDA, they still have to comply with the other regulations enforced by other government agencies like the CIC, like the FIRB, and other government agencies.
I think this is a given in our country, and since these are made through our Congress and they have become laws, I think we have no other recourse than to follow them. As I have said, these laws were made to discipline us, and these laws were not made to really put us down. And while we comply with these laws, our level of standing, our level of trust is better than those who are not abiding by it.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for the very candid answers to those questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a short break. When we return, we'll talk about the exciting work around youth empowerment, innovations in training, and how the CDA plans to help unify the sector. Stay with us.